Dr. Headshots doing some accuracy testing with the Smith and Wesson M&P Viking Tactics model. We're shooting at about 10 yards, maybe 12 yards, using 115 grain Federal full metal jacket ammo. It's nice to have 17 round mags. I really like the M&P. It's a really quality pistol. It's the TheGearTester here with my tabletop review on a fun little pistol. Has a lot of appeal to me personally, kind of a second kind of cool. I think it's an awesome looking little pistol, and it has proven to be very reliable and pretty accurate. And this is the Smith and Wesson M&P. This model happens to be the Viking Tactics model, and that just means that it has different sights. It has some unique sights there. They have a fiber optic sight there. Maybe you can see that better if I shine some light in like so. There you go. So they've got a fiber optic steel sight there on the top, and also a night sight there beneath it. So that's what makes it the Viking Tactics model, and the fact that the slide is a coyote brown or coyote tan, and the grip here is coyote tan. But otherwise, it's it's exactly a Smith and Wesson M&P. All the internals are the same as a standard Smith and Wesson M&P. So I think many people are going to compare the M&P to the Glock. Okay, this happens to be a Glock 19. It's about the same size actually as the full-size Smith and Wesson, which is this model here. I have enjoyed shooting this gun. I've put about 500 rounds through this pistol in the last couple months. That's probably not enough rounds to tell you whether this gun is really, really ultra reliable, but there are lots of people that have put thousands of rounds through their Smith & Wesson M&Ps, and I just don't have the time or the money right now to do that through this particular gun. I picked this gun up because my Glock 19 was not functioning well. I was getting hit in the face every time I shot this pistol. Almost every time I pulled the trigger, I'd get hit in the face with the brass. This is a new Glock 19 Gen 4. Glock replaced my old one, and this gun runs flawlessly now. So I'm very happy with my Glock pistol now. But a couple months ago, I decided I was going to kind of pitch Glock off a cliff and go with the Smith & Wesson M&Ps, and I saw this at a local firearm shop and got my hand on one. And I've been very, very pleased with it. It has excellent ergonomics and some things I really like about it. But just talking broadly, not just about the 511 Viking Tactics model, 511, what am I saying? The Viking Tactics version of the M&P. If we just talked about M&Ps across the board, I like their sights better than the Glock sights and better than many polymer Wonder pistol sights, because it appears to me that Smith & Wesson is putting steel sights on all their pistols. Whether you just get a plain steel sight, no trinium in it, it's not a night sight, you're still getting a steel front sight and a steel back sight. You're also getting them this little set screw in the back. It appears on all the M&Ps, and I like that. The Glocks don't do that. And so I'm not hearing people saying I'm losing the back sight on my Glock. I don't hear that that's happening, but the Smith & Wesson M&P gives you just a little more, just that little set screw there, making sure you don't have that problem. And I like that across the board, that you get steel sights. You get polymer sights with the Glocks, okay? And so you have to upgrade them. So that's a hidden cost when you get a Glock. Moving down here to the takedown lever on the Smith & Wesson M&P, I find this to be very, very simple to do. I am going to safety check it here. There's no round in the chamber. Pull the trigger, making sure there's no round in the chamber. I'm just going to slide the slide forward, rotate that lever, okay, and then it won't come off unless you pull the trigger again. It comes right off like so. You can take this out quickly here, and there. All right, then you can put the barrel right back in. It has a single recoil spring with a steel guide rod, I believe. Maybe it's stainless steel. Slide it right back on, and we're good to go. Okay, the M&P is a really sweet gun because it's ambidextrous, meaning you can move this the magazine release to this side relatively quickly, a couple minutes to do that, and the gun is then totally functional. You have this slide release on both the right hand side and the left hand side, and operates without any change there. So that's cool about the M&P. Glock has that basically the same features, except you're not going to be able to replace the slide lock. It will not, or the slide release will not be movable over to the other side or already there on the M&P. Moving down here from the sights and from the takedown system here, we're going to go to the trigger. I'm not super wild about the triggers that just come on most of the M&P series of pistols. What I don't like about them is that they have a longer creep when you fire the pistol. So you're going to fire it, okay? You've got to bring that trigger all the way forward before it is going to allow you to then fire the gun again. And can you hear that little sound there, that little, okay? That's kind of annoying because I've had this happen as I've been shooting the pistol. I've heard people moan and complain it's not like the Glock trigger, and I kind of thought that was stupid. Glocks have a really snappy little reset that you can feel. But the M&P's trigger resets much further out than many other pistols do, which means that you're going to struggle a little bit more with accuracy with this gun because each movement of your finger is going to take you a little bit more off target. Some people may disagree with me. I found the M&P to be easy to be accurate with, but I don't prefer this kind of a trigger. I wish they have on their M&P Pro series a much better trigger, and I felt that, and that's a way better trigger. It just has a little less creep in it. The trigger this gun has no safeties on it, and I wouldn't want it to. Some of the M&Ps do have a safety or a thumb safety. I don't like that. It does have the safety in the fact that here, if I try and pull the trigger right here, the trigger will not actuate. You have to actually pull down here on that lever for the firearm to discharge. So it does have a built-in safety, very similar to the Glocks or XDs, something like that, and I actually like that fact. Now we're going to come back here, and the ergonomics for me are really where the M&P shines better than maybe Glock, okay? It is a thinner pistol right here, much thinner, okay? And I like that. Ergonomically, it feels better in my hand. Other people who have fired these guns have said that they prefer the Glock ergonomics. But for me personally, I really like the ergonomics of the M&P. It just feels more sculpted, a little bit thinner. I feel like I'm able to get more of my hand on the gun. And that's not because this is a full size and has just a little more grip than the Glock. I feel that same way about Glock 17s, not just the 19. So I think the sights I really like the sights on the M&P. I really like the takedown. It's very easy. The trigger, I would prefer if it was a little bit crisper. It didn't have to, the reset wasn't so far out. I love the ergonomics on the M&P family of pistols here. It does have a replaceable back strap. You just pull out this little pin here. Let's see if I can do that. Okay. And this comes off. This is the smallest one. And there are two others that widen the pistol out if you have really large hands. One thing is you can fire the pistol. You wouldn't even have to have that. I mean, the gun looks kind of weird, but I actually prefer the way this feels. It gets me even tighter into the gun. It's very easy to replace, and it does have a lot of purchase there on the pistol. We'll replace that here, and it goes so. Okay. I like the magazines. I found the factory magazines. I've purchased one and had a couple that came with the gun. They run very well, function very nicely. They drop free, which of course is what you would expect. I like the M&P family of pistols. I really like the full-size M&P. I would prefer that the gun did not have this beaver tail here. This is a Glock 19, okay? A Glock 17 is a little bit longer than the Glock 19. You can see here, if you had a Glock 17 in comparison to this full-size M&P, it would you'd have more barrel length, okay, from where it would start. It would be here, and it would be basically the same length as the M&P. And what has happened is you've lost that length in barrel and in velocity in order for them to have this beaver tail and have basically the same dimensions from the end of this beaver tail to the end of the barrel for a full-sized Glock pistol. I think some people are going to be really worried about the size and weight. Oh, the M&P is a little bit lighter than the Glock. This particular model weighs in at 24 ounces, okay? It is 7.63 inches long, and it is 5.5 inches from the top of the pistol to the bottom of the grip. And it has a width of 1.2 inches supposedly overall. That's basically where many full-size pistols are today. I wouldn't bemoan the fact that it's an ounce or two lighter or heavier than a pistol. I think people get bent out of shape over 1 or 2 ounces. I think what you need to do is you need to feel the Smith and Wesson M&P, see if it fits your hand well, and if it does, and you like the way it feels, I don't think you should be worried about pulling the trigger and purchasing one. It's an excellent gun. This one, I've had no failures of fire, no stovepipes. Everything I've put in through the gun, it's run reliably. I definitely am impressed with the M&P family of pistols. I like the Viking Tactics model. I like those fiber optic sights. They're unique, they're interesting. Thank you so much for your views and your subscriptions. My goal here at the TheGearTester YouTube channel is to produce quality video reviews of shooting, camping, and survival gear. Thank you so much for your views and your subscriptions. This is the TheGearTester signing off.